how you doing?
My name, isn't it terrible? I'm good.
That's good. Well, I would say tell us about your character, but...
I know a little bit about the character.
Okay, tell us about your character.
My name.
I'm going to put this right here just so we can...
A little about my character.
Yeah, he's the father. Yeah.
Do you remember my name? I don't.
I could probably... Is it on IMDb yet?
It is on IMDb.
Okay.
Yeah, here, I'll look.
Here we go.
It's okay,
Yeah.
I'm half asleep, so we're
Oh, me too. So this is going to be perfect.
My name is Cheese. That's where I am in my day.
We did 16 hours at Disneyland yesterday, and so I am
Gurpreet.
just like,
Gurpreet was my
Gurpreet,
father.
okay.
I played Karan's dad.
Okay.
Who was the lead of the film. I'm not allowed to give away like the film, right? I can't tell you.
can
what
you tell us
happened.
the title?
Fade to Black.
Okay, this is Fade to Black.
This is
Okay.
Fade to Black, yeah. And my son is a Hollywood writer.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I know from my point of view from the film. I play the dad who's allowed, like subsidized his entire time in Hollywood to try to become successful. At the 10-year anniversary, I'm going to cut him off if he's not successful, and that's where.
I give you David Baxter, producer on the film, and one of the execs of Legion Am.
Hey, guy. Thank you so much for asking questions. You know, it's very exciting to be able to talk about a film a little bit because we just completed production and now we're in post-production. So this is the phase where it all comes together, where there's the script, which is a blueprint, and then there is the finished product, which can be sometimes significantly different, but hopefully it's always sort of pushing it up and making the material rise to the occasion. And so we're very psyched. Right now is getting all that last bit together, at which point we either go on the festival circuit or we may sell it directly to a distributor. We'll see, but in any case, we're super happy to be here.
That's great. Well, we're happy to have you here. So what can you tell us about it?
The movie is part thriller, part horror, part social satire, specifically about Hollywood.
Okay.
The lead character is a screenwriter. Right now, just as you guys should know, original material is very difficult to get made because the studio system has changed. It used to be producers would make a decision based on an idea, whatever they wanted to do, or they would go to a great writer and buy a spec script. Nowadays, it's become very important for whatever you're doing to be based on something else. So whether that be a comic book, whether that be an article, whether that be a famous book, because the studios want to mitigate risk. Mm-hmm. If something has been successful before, they figure, it could be successful again. And Snow White, I mean, that's 1937, and they're still cranking it out. And what they're trying to do is always target a particular audience. We're a small production company. We're always seeking to find genre movies that are elevated in some way. We have a movie that was just in theaters, My Dead Friend Zoe with
Navy
Eddie Harris. Thank you, Navy brat. In any case, that I'm very, very proud of that movie because it deals with people who've had trauma. In particular, a veteran, but it's applicable to anybody. But the thing that kind of elevated it was that it's called My Dead Friend Zoe, and in fact, her dead friend Zoe is in the movie. And so it was something that takes it to another level. And for me, I'm a member of the Writers Guild. When I read this script, which is a blacklist script, which is a place where you can get very, very high-level, well-written things. The script's by Brendan Cohen, a wonderful writer. I literally would have flop sweat from reading stuff because the interactions of the lead character, of the writer, with executives. They were actual conversations that I heard as a writer. And really the biggest thing is, what is your project based on? And if it isn't, they really aren't interested. So the question that this movie asks is, what are you willing to do to get your movie made? And our character is a horror writer.
Okay.
So you can imagine, I can't go into any detail, but we have the greatest star in the world for this particular role, Karan Soni, who stole every scene he had with Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. He has this natural lovability. Like, this is the last person you could imagine doing unsavory things. And he was absolutely flawless. I think he's in pretty much every single scene of the film. I mean, this is all on his shoulders. That's what the film is about.
I'll be rude and ask, was he your first choice?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And in fact, he was part of the reason when we were approached, he was already interested in the role. And so we're just like, yes. I mean, he hasn't broken out as a star in his own right. We feel that this hopefully will help him, because the world deserves to have Karan Soni all week and all year long.
So I've always liked original stories, and now I am noticing everything it's either based on this, or it's based on this, or it's based. Why do you think that's happening? Is the creative juices?
No, it's risk management.
Oh, okay.
So the studios, one, have a fiduciary duty to their shareholders. So what they're going to look for are things that they think are sure things. What they're finding out is that even Marvel movies aren't sure things.
Right.
And there's a thing called habituation that occurs. If we see things over and over, if the audience ever feels like they're being treated as just a money machine, there has to be some kind of heart behind all of these things, which is why you need great writers and great directors. Obviously, writers are under fire because of AI. AI is literally scrubbing the internet, reading all these screenplays, and so hopefully the best writers will find ways of working with AI. It's not going away. So the question is how do you professionally integrate and use it as a tool to help move things along, but not to take over. We do make there are some jokes in the film about AI. It's a little teaser.
With Legion M, do you feel it's been easier or harder to get stuff made?
Well, we started Legion M because we felt there were certain movies that the studios weren't making. I mean, if you think about like Mandy with Panos Cosmatos, Nicolas Cage, Bill Duke, that's no way that would ever be a studio film. But our job is to talk to and communicate with the community of film goers and ask them what they want to see, and then we need to find incredibly talented people and let them make the movies that they want to do. Our director, Andrew Sandler, is at the height of his game with music videos and musical artists. This was his opportunity, to make his first feature film. And he's assembled an incredible cast and did a great job. So we're happy about it. So to answer your question, it's never easy to make a movie. You never know what's going to happen. Timing has a lot to do with it. it's one of those businesses where you can't control all of the different factors. It's really, I mean, it's really, really interesting. I guess that's one of the things that makes it exciting. But we're very happy with Fade to Black, and we're very happy, you know, with all the films that we've been doing recently. I mean, getting to do a William Shatner documentary. I mean, to be able to say, Bill Shatner's my friend. It's like, that's crazy. And yet, you know, we've gotten so much support from the community. The watchword in all of this, thing that makes us different from the studios is we have a community of like-minded people who love film and television. And they're willing to tell us, you know, what they want. We did an Impulse with log lines, and Fade to Black won the Impulse. I mean, art is not made by committee, but having the opinions of 54,000 investors, 250,000 in our community, that's a statistically significant number. That's like taking a cross-section, not just the country, but of the world. And we found that it statistically links up to Rotten Tomatoes. It's like we have our own Rotten Tomatoes, and we're able to ask those people ahead of time to help us guide our decision making. We're a very small company, you know. It's like less than a dozen people, so we depend on our community, and we think the community really enjoys it because it's a chance also to pull the curtain back. Whenever we can, we try to let our investors and our community, you know, come to the set, do whatever we can. It's a little tough when you are shooting in LA. LA has a lot of restrictions because of the guilds. Like we couldn't just say, hey, we need 50 people to show up and be in the background. But we felt it was important to shoot Fade to Black in Hollywood because it's a character. It's like, I mean, it's been so long since there has been a send-up of Hollywood. The Player that came out in the 90s, which was an amazing movie. And then there's Entourage. But there hasn't been anything like this until actually just a couple of days ago, The Studio came out on Apple Plus, and it seems to be a runaway hit. So we're thrilled because what it means is that people, they kind of want to make fun of Hollywood. They want to see, I mean, the studio system's kind of broken. So, you know, when A24 and Neon are winning Oscars, you know, I mean, Nora, that was a $6 million movie, $18 million to market it. But that's the point is, we have to fight for independent film, for different people's voices. Studios can't do that. They're not in a position, you know, to do that. They have to make movies that are going to please their shareholders. So we think we're kind of an answer to that. And we would love to work with studios, but we also feel like, hey, if we can help these really talented young people go out and get something made, then we all win.
And you've been around for how long?
I've been working in the industry since 1990. I've been working at Legion M since before it started. So it's
When did Legion M start?
March 13th, 9 years ago.
That's what I thought.
20 years, really? It's been that long? Oh my God, I feel old.
Yeah, it's literally just our 9th anniversary.
Silly question, you're an executive. How much of your day is meetings?
It's a lot. You know, as an executive at a small production company, you know, you constantly are getting requests to read material and people want to pitch to you and so forth. In our situation, it's not the same as a studio where there's a bank full of money and you can pick and choose what you want to do. We're beholden to our community, our other shareholders. So we need for a movie to come out, make money, get our investors paid back, and then they tend to reinvest in another film. And so it's a very democratic way of approaching making films. We don't want to make a film unless we know the community is behind it, and the way they show that they're behind it is they invest in it. So, makes sense.
Makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
When is it coming out?
Well, generally, in an ideal world, it would be before the end of the year. Because now we're in post-production. So, if it went to a festival, most likely it would be in the fall. So, last question.
What's next?
What's next? To me, this is what's next.
Okay.
Because we're still in post. There are a couple of projects that we're eyeing. I'd say the big thing that's coming up is Defiant. That's the Robert Smalls story. That Rob Edwards, who actually just wrote the Captain America movie, so his star is shot up. We're going to have the complete graphic novel of the Robert Smalls story by May, and then hopefully the movie.
Forward to that.
But that's what's next. And come to our panel tomorrow on Defiant. All right?
Thank you.
No, thank you guys.
I'm gonna bring.
Okay.
Well, they're trying to
No, I just. Hello.
Seems like a sweet star of the show here. So.
So they say.
If it was up to me, we'd be spending the entire time talking about your rom-com, but we can't. Because I just saw the trailer. And
You did?
Yeah, it looks fracking adorable.
It's really good. If I can say so myself.
But we can't. We have to talk about
to talk
what you're
about this.
promoting.
God damn it.
So,
Well, maybe we can get through all these questions quick and then ask a couple.
I'll answer.
As long as you're okay.
I'm totally fine with
Okay,
it.
you're fine.
the standard, what drew you to the project?
The script was amazing. I had never played a part like this before. It's basically I play a struggling screenwriter who's trying to make it in Hollywood. He's trying to make his first movie, and he's frustrated by the system. And eventually, he snaps and starts killing agents and executives, and becomes a serial killer.
Whoa!
So it was something very unusual and very interesting. Yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's like a social satire / thriller on the state of Hollywood. So there we go. Yeah.
What do you like about the part?
What was really cool about it is the arc was really cool. So by the end of the script, I remember reading it the first time and being like, this person has killed multiple people, but at the end I still want him to win, which was this very hard thing to do in writing. And I compared the ultimate version of it as Breaking Bad, where you're meeting this character and over a long time he's doing horrible things, but you still want him to win at the end and not be punished. And in a movie, obviously we have less time, but that was the challenge of like, if we can pull that off, that would be really cool.
I was gonna say, do you consider him the villain or bad guy, or?
He does like really bad things that are unacceptable, but at the same time, I really felt for him in the reading of it, and I hope in the performance people feel that too. It's not a simple story, which is always interesting.
What did you bring of yourself into the film?
Yes.
Not just that you're very handsome. I love your
Oh, thank you. What I brought myself is I'm very bad at expressing rage and anger. And I live in LA, and I drive in LA. And early on, I got in an accident like many years ago, and the tow truck driver said to me, never do any road rage, because he's like the most, I've seen brains at the top of cars because people pull out a gun and shoot. And so I have so much of this unexpressed emotion that in this movie I just got to get it all out, strangling and like doing all this stuff. And people were like, "You're sweet," and then when they saw me do those scenes, they were like, "Are you okay?" But it was really fun for me, and it was cool to be covered in blood and do all that kind of stuff. I haven't done a lot of that stuff before, so yeah.
Oh, okay. You also have done comedy. Do you find one harder than the other, or are they just different?
I think comedy can be a little bit harder because you just want a good story, and sometimes in comedy people get distracted if there's just good jokes but the story isn't good. So like Bridesmaids, for example, has a great engine and story. You really care for Kristen Wiig, and then it's surrounded by all these scenes. But a lot of times comedies, they don't focus on the development on the story as much. It's more just set pieces. So it can be harder in terms of sometimes you're like, this scene doesn't have anything but jokes and there's no story in it. So in drama, usually you need to have a story because there's not not jokes floating it. So it ultimately just depends on the writing. But nothing is more fun than doing comedy, because then you're just getting to go and kind of have a good time. And if you're having fun, that means you did a good job, which is nice.
So they said this has satire and stuff.
Yes.
So how do you mix those two, the serial killer and satire? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, and this is really interesting because the way that it was in the writing, which I think is the right way to do it, is the people around me are very funny, but they're also very grounded because all the agents and executives, the way they speak in Hollywood is kind of alien and insane. The terminology, the like stuff they say, and the bubble that they're in. So a lot of the actors around me were great character actors, and they basically play slightly heightened versions of like what a real agent would say and what a real executive would say. And then I'm sort of the straight person who's sort of just at the receiving end of that. So a lot of times it's just I was more of the normal person, and then I'm surrounded by all these goofs who are kind of more extreme.
What did you learn from this role that you'll take on in future projects?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I'd never done something like this before in terms of like with these many stunts and this much intensity, and so to me, often I honestly won't tell the producers this, but in the beginning I was like, I don't know if I can do it. But sometimes you have to do a job, and at the end you're like, oh, I was able to do it. So it gave me just a little bit more confidence, I think, moving in the future of like, oh, I was able to do that. Yeah.
Having done theater myself, what is your process towards approaching a character?
Yeah, I have a very basic process that has worked so far. So I do it, which is 30 days before the movie starts. I read the script every day once. And in the terms of that, what ends up happening for me is, one, the lines get memorized, and then two, I'll just constantly have ideas and I'll scribble them on the script pages. Sometimes it's improv, sometimes it's just I will have an image when I'm reading it one day, like for the 50th time or something, and then I'll just like look at the script on the day and be like, oh, that day I had that idea, and it's just like something that happens. And then I don't like to rehearse or do anything. I think it's sacred to capture something on camera for the first time. And so if the director's like, do you want to run the scene? I'm like, no. And then I do think some magic happens on its own. And then over time, I've learned to not control the creative process for myself. So I do think some acting is just on the day. If it comes from above, it comes from above. There's a very intense scene. The ending of this movie is very intense. We shot it over 14 hours, like a very emotionally intense scene. And I honestly was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm just going to trust that I've done everything. And if it comes today, it comes. And if it doesn't, it's fine. And not to try to be precious or control the creative thing. So it's a mix of super preparation, but then also surrendering to whatever's going to happen.
Was there any serial killer that you were like, ooh, this is who I'm going to base this on?
No, because I don't like watching that stuff. So no, but what was really interesting about it, that was very cool, was we had a great stunt person, and she essentially was like, I'm reading the script and I feel like the stunts and the kills should be not like professional, because this is a writer. So what would it feel like for a writer to take a knife and put it into someone? Like, how would they do? And so the kills were very sloppy, and I'm missing a lot. And hopefully as you're watching, you're like, oh my God, it's almost hard to watch because he's not good at it. And so there was a lot of that. So that was really fun in the choreography of the stunts to be like, I'm getting beat up as I'm trying to kill people. Like, I'm not succeeding a lot. And so there was a lot of fun choreography. And like, so we tried to do our own original spin on like what it would really feel like to like do some of these things. Yeah.
I'm just still questioning last time. With Legion M, have you seen it? Is it different than working with the others on, since they're a fan-run company?
No, it's actually, that part of it is the same. What was great about the fan part is that the fans chose this script because they were trying to pick a bunch of other scripts, and all I saw was this script, and it was such a good script that I was like, oh yeah, I love that. This is what people want to see because I want to see this. So, but apart from that part, when you get on the set, it's just like a regular movie.
So you said that you're from LA.
I grew up in India, but I've been in LA since 2007.
So doing a show as a serial killer in your hometown,
Yeah.
how is that?
It was really fun, actually. What Andrew, the director, did, which is really cool, is it's a side of LA that does not make LA look appealing. And that is actually the way LA feels, at least to me, when I started in Hollywood with no connections. It's not glamorous. It's kind of, you only see dirt and the ugliness of it all. And it's the version that like is not an Entourage and all these other things that maybe you've imagined as like the Hollywood thing, La La Land or whatever. Yeah, it's very kind of like grungy. and not great, and that's what the world of the movie is. So even in the stuff I've seen, LA looks kind of bad and not safe, and because we're in the main character's POV of like it's a dog-eat-dog world and everyone is trying to get ahead, and it was a really kind of interesting heightened lens into that world.
How far in the future is this set?
It's set in the present day. Yeah. So the entire conversation is about the Hollywood system now. So that my character's written an original script, but every executive is like, we need IP. So what ends up happening is I accidentally kill the first person, and I realize this could become IP because it'll be a news story. So I option the news story from the crime scene, and then I go back out. And then I realize the news story is dying, so I have to keep killing people to keep the news, to keep the IP alive. So the movie ultimately asks the question, how far you would go to make your dream come true. And in this movie, obviously, he goes to... Yeah.
Do you have another question?
What was your favorite scene that you know when people watch the film will really grab you?
The ending, without giving it away, is the best scene in the script, and I think from what I've seen, the best scene in the movie. Hardest to make and shoot. But then there was another scene that was the most fun for me to be in, which was with Zosha Mamet, who plays a Hollywood executive from Girls. I've been such a big fan of hers, and she plays this white woman who claims to be the diversity executive, and she's not read my script. And halfway through the scene, I realized she's bullshitting me, and she hasn't read the script, and I confront her about it, which was just such a fun, cathartic scene, because you've often been in that situation in Hollywood where someone is kind of pretending like they've done anything. You're not allowed to really speak up and be like, let's just be honest, you know. And so in that scene, we got to have that moment, and it was really fun.
How far would you go to get a movie made?
Oh my gosh. No, I would not go far. Not this. I'd just give up, switch careers, do something else. Yeah, it's not worth it. Yeah.
Speaking of switching careers, what did you do before you became an actor?
Yes, I came out to LA to go to USC, originally for business.
Right on.
Thank you. I was supposed to take over my dad's family business, which my dad makes tractor parts for John Deere in India. Oh. Very interesting. And then the parts are made there and assembled here. So I was supposed to take over that business, no interest in tractor parts or anything, but I was just told that's my destiny. And then my dad eventually lost that business, and then I didn't have a job to go back to. So I keep saying I was going to be an agriculture Nepo baby, but then I'm not as glamorous, but then I wasn't. And then I happened to be studying business at USC, and then I'd never been to LA. I'd always loved movies. And then being at USC for a year, I was like, there's the Hollywood, it's right there. Like it demystified it a little bit. And then a lot of child actors went to USC, and because they grew up in Simi Valley or like around, and they would be in commercials. And at the time in 2007, 2008, my friend made $50,000 in a McDonald's commercial. I just remember being like, that's a career you can have. So it kind of opened up the eyes a little bit. And then I worked in restaurants. But I was lucky because when I was 24, so like 2 years after graduation, I got my first series, and it was enough money to then not work at a restaurant. But I do remember being like, I don't know how long I can last doing the restaurant thing. I did not like it. And then when I went to quit that job because I got this pilot, my manager at the restaurant said, you'll be back, you all come back. And I just remembered myself being like, I won't come back. Like, I was like, I can't come back, I can't. But I was like, but maybe I will have to go back. And so I was really happy when that show went and I didn't have to go back.
Right.
Yeah.
Your turn.
What was the most fun person to connect with in real life while you were filming that became your film movie buddy?
Oh yeah, Morgan. I would say she was my makeup person. And the movie, I have a lot of blood and a lot of scars, a lot of things. So I did have a lot of time, sometimes some days in the makeup chair, and we shot all nights. And it was like a long shoot, and I was in every scene. So she just became the person who, many scenes, sometimes I'm alone. So it was like she was the only crew member I was really interacting with all the time. So she became sort of the person. And then by the end, she nailed it. So like my bruises and stuff didn't take a lot of time. So that was nice. And all her work is amazing in the movie. Because sometimes I would see how bad the bruises were, and I was like, well, I don't even have to act because like I look so rough that it was doing all the work, so it was kind of nice. But the artistry of all those people really shined in this movie because all the prosthetics and blood, and we had a special blood guy who made his own blood, which is cleaner, comes off easier. You don't even need soap, and it smells like maple syrup.
No more carousel.
Yeah, when you're covered in it and stuff, you're like, I love this blood. The consistency is great. these are the conversations we were having on this movie. But I loved all that because that's the fun part about before I entered Hollywood, you don't realize how many crafts people work on the other side. And often your performance, everything is helped by the work of all these people. And so in this movie, there were so many different technicians and stuff who were helping stunt people and props people who were making the movie better with their work, you know.
Totally innocent asking, what's next?
What's next? Oh my God, I have this movie coming out called A Nice Indian Boy, opening in theaters April 4th. That is about my character. I meet Jonathan Groff and we fall in love, and then I bring him home to my wild Indian family, and he has to win them over before the wedding. It's adapted by a play of the same name that was first put up in 2014, so for a while, and we've modernized it for the screen. And it's not a coming out story, but it's this other part of coming out, which is cool that we're exploring now, which is introducing someone you're in love with to your parents. And it asks the question, they accept you in private, but will they accept you in public? And that's been a very emotional thing. We premiered at South by, and we've played at over 20 festivals before coming out now, and it's been really cathartic and emotional because it connects to the parents a lot, and a lot of people have watched the movie with their parents, and it's a movie that really brings people together in a very sweet way, and it's a movie I wish I had 10 years ago to show my parents, but it exists now, so that's cool.
You good?
Oh my God, that's such a relatable story for anyone.
Yes, because the other thing about the movie is that it's about an interracial relationship. And when we were pitching the movie to financiers to get money, we interviewed straight, gay, all kinds of couples where we're like, here's a strong culture, here's a strong culture. How did you do the wedding? It's a big part of the movie because it's like the conflict of all of that stuff that comes up for people. And often you have to win over a more dominant cultural family. That's what happened, yeah.
Funerals and weddings, there's always going to be a fight. Well, with my family, there's always a fight.
Oh my gosh.
Do you need to pull them away?
We can do one more. I don't know who's up next. If
Do you have any
all
other
good.
questions?
One last question. If you could pick a genre that you haven't done yet, your next project, what would it be?
I would love to do like an all-out action. I think I'd be bad at it, but I would like to do it.
Totally different.
Yeah. Just like straight full action, like running Tom Cruise style. I want to do the wires, just danger. I want to do that.
Not Bollywood.
Yeah, no, just full action. Yeah, just do it all. Yeah.
That'd be great.
That would be great. And Amazon is always looking for new projects. Amazon Prime is always doing a good action movie.
Oh no, they're doing all the action. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Thank
You were
you.
very charming.
Andrew the director, Danny the producer.
Hello.
We're just talking about our favorite serial killers, you know.
Oh, nice.
Do you have a favorite serial killer?
Car and Sony.
Yeah.
Standard question: What drew you to what about the script made you want to do it?
The script is incredible. So when I first read the script by Brandon Cohen, I had so much fun reading it. It was just such an insanely fun, wild ride, and something that I could really relate to about someone trying to break through in the industry. And that relatability is what made me really excited about wanting to make it.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon has such a distinct voice and perspective on the industry that it was hilarious. I had been trying to find a script for a friend of mine who was becoming like a proper leading man, and I had read about 100 scripts and nothing was quite the fit, and this was like the last batch of scripts before I just like gave up on everything. And then I read it and I immediately called my producing partner and I was like, oh, this writer has something within the first like 15 to 20 pages of reading it. So he's just got such a hilarious, twisted, way of describing everything that was like, oh my God, this is so true. So that was initially what drew me to the project, was just his distinctive voice.
Yeah.
I totally forgot my question, so I'm going to go this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you balance? I haven't seen the movie yet, so I won't lie. But I feel like there's humor to it as well as violence and a little bit of drama. How did you all sort of balance that with a serial killer who looks very charming and sweet and innocent?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an easy thing to do, but when you bring someone like Karan to the table who already brings that kind of like levity and who brings that comedy, and then you balance that with a tone that's a little more dark, we found this kind of middle place that straddles a line between darkness and humor. We're gonna tease a little bit today for everyone to see, but I'm really excited with like where it ended up. I think it's exactly what we had hoped for.
Yeah, I mean, just echoing what Andrew said, Karn's such a comedic genius that the script at times is a little darker, so his natural inclination to make things just, a little bit funnier, just who he is, like really made the whole performance like sing. So that's how it was honestly like a testament to Karn as an actor. Yeah.
Do you remember your question?
I did.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. So, what are some of the challenges that you faced getting this done, getting this?
I mean,
target.
Yeah, I mean, I can just speak it from the producing perspective. Like, everybody told me no. Like, everybody, they're like, it's too inside baseball, it's too small, like, we're not going to shoot in LA. Like, no one wants to hear this story. And then turn around, like, the studio is, like, the most popular, like, show right now. And, like, I didn't want to listen to what anybody was saying. And eventually, I got introduced to Legion M, and they saw the vision just like I did. They thought it was hilarious, and they're like, "Let's go make this." And I was like, "Oh, where were you like 2 years ago? Like this could have happened 2 years ago." But that was probably the most challenging thing. It was just like, not even. It was. I knew we had something, and I just wasn't going to give up until it was made. It was just about finding the right partner.
Yeah. For me, the most challenging part was the timeline which we had to shoot. It's it was independent film through and through, and everybody who showed up was there because they loved the material, they wanted to work with Karn, or they saw something in the team in the film that they wanted to be a part of. But the challenging part of that is like you have so many amazing talents in the room, and it's like, how do we accomplish this in a short period of time? And luckily Legion M and Brent and Danny were such great partners in the producing side of it that made it easy for me to like play within this world.
Full disclosure, I'm an investor in Legion M. So, what about? I mean, you already talked a little bit about what drew you, but what was it? Any different working from them than other companies?
I think they have a far more. It feels more of like a family with them, and they're really thinking about all their investors and fans and what they want to see, and it's a really cool. It's a really cool business model because it doesn't feel so like cold and like shark-like. A lot of these other companies, they're just. I mean, they're sharks, and it can really kind of like sour your taste with like how the whole process of the project can go. But Paul, Jeff, and David have been just phenomenal mentors in this whole process, and I think you can be nice and still get things done. Like this industry can be so dark and daunting at times, but having really collaborative partners that bring in a community that want to support you and support original ideas and voices is something that I hope I have more projects with them in the future.
Yeah, I mean, echoing everything that he said, from my side, from the directing side, it was great to know that you have a team who really believes in the vision of it, and knowing that there's a community of fans who voted for this project, who are supporting it. And when you're on set making the movie, to know you have like that kind of support behind you from so many people who are excited and want to see you win, just made it for me a more rewarding experience.
And we're looking at fall for this movie to come out?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, there's still a rough timeline, but fall is when we're kind of.
And where will it be streaming? What will it be?
We don't actually know yet. I think we're gonna try to hit the festival circuit first, and then see where we land. But I hope we either land a huge streaming deal, or we'll be in theaters and we can all go and watch it.
That'd be great, because I want to see this movie. It looks really good.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have any questions, Mark?
So while you're directing the film and you producing and slicing you all there, what scene did you say to yourself, oh, this is that gotcha scene that we will use in a trailer? Everyone's going to be running and putting these boobies in the seat.
Well, Danny also acts in the film, and I must say the scene that he's in is definitely a trailer moment. It's really fun because it straddles that line of kind of like horror comedy, and what else would you say? There's so many good moments in this movie. Like, truly, Karn's performance is like phenomenal, and like every minute of this movie, I'm just like, we're in the edit room, and I'm just like, I don't even know how to pick a take because he's just comedic genius in every single one.
Yeah,
it's just gold.
I mean, there's the moment that stood out to me that's actually like not in the trailer, which I think is one of the more powerful ones is Karn's dynamic with his father Bernard White in the film, and I think that is going to be something that a lot of people like. It pulls at their heartstrings. Like this film is just, Andrew did such a great job of balancing like all sorts of tones in this film. But yeah, like you might see me get my face smashed in the trailer too. So that might have been a little trailer moment. Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that.
Is that what you're going to show us a trailer at the panel?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's more like a sizzle than a trailer, like showing some of the moments in the film. But
yes,
yeah,
you'll see some.
Yeah, we're really excited. Yeah, it's the first time we're showing it publicly. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Specific to you, how do you become a producer?
I don't even know. I think I was just getting frustrated with with everything. I wasn't getting the opportunities that I wanted to get, and I was quite frankly tired of like waiting for someone to tell me when I can and can't work. And so I've been in LA for 11 years, and I have friends across in every aspect of the industry, and I just started like piecing things together and taking more control of my own destiny. And that's honestly it. It was out of like a frustration of like not getting consistent opportunities, and I was like, I'm done playing this game. I'm just gonna like just do what I want to do and build it and engineer it from the ground up.
So reading the script before you guys started filming it, you were so encompassing what you want to do. What movie or comedy horror TV show that you were like, oh yeah, this is my fill in the blank of what movie or TV show that really grabs you, that's in the same sort of style?
I mean, there it is. Ingrid Goes West was a great movie, just about someone coming out and trying to like find their way in Hollywood. And it was such our DP Bryce Fordner actually was shot that movie as well. So it was one of our comps. And then when we brought Bryce onto the team, it kind of like completed the full package. But for me, it would have been like Ingrid Goes West. Yeah,
We manifested him.
yeah, we did for sure. Yeah.
He appeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was Ingrid Goes West and Fargo were two comps, and of course The Player is like a classic film in this genre that we looked at as well, and we wanted to create something that felt like a modern version of The Player. So like The Player meets Ingrid Goes West meets Fargo. Like how do you create a baby that is all three of those films combined?
Specific to you.
Yeah.
What is your favorite and least favorite part of directing?
There's so many things I love about it. Yeah. I would say my most favorite part is being on set and working with actors, especially the type of actors we had in this movie was just like a dream for me to be able to work with them and meet me halfway. My least favorite part, I don't know if there is a least favorite part. After rap and then you go home. And
Yeah, it's like,
what do I like the time between when you rap and when you start editing?
I want to make sure.
And so with this project, does it make you to want to work together again? And if you do work together again, what would be the genre that you would like to have your next project?
yeah, I mean, for me, absolutely. I think Andrew's got such a visual dynamic that I think is just gonna. I mean, you guys will see it when you see the sizzle. But he's such a talented individual that I think like I would love to work with you in the future. Hopefully on bigger and better things. But this has been a really, really like awesome experience on it. Yeah. So maybe another thriller.
Yeah. Likewise.
Yeah.
You learn you go through so much with the team that you create with, especially on a film of this size, where you're trying to be as scrappy as possible to make magic happen and be able to like bond with guys like this and make it happen on this level. We just got to go bigger on the next one.
Yeah.
This being Hollywood, what's next on your plates?
I'm actually at the end of the year looking to do a thriller set in Japan.
Ooh.
So yeah. It's a fun little project. But yeah.
Getting this out to the world, and then we'll see what's next. But hopefully another film in the same genre.
Do you do a lot of thrillers? Is that what you do, or do you do other genres too?
I like thrillers, and like also they're probably the most economical thing to make starting off, you know. So, but yeah, I love them. They perform well. They're entertaining. Yeah. And then I like coming of age dramas too. So I'd like to find a way to tell like a story like Peanut Butter Falcon or Honey Boy or Little Miss Sunshine. I really love those types of films. So I have a few things that I'm working on, but yeah, the next thing would be probably
Working with Legion M, the experience sounds like it was great. Would you like to work with them again?
Absolutely, yeah. It's been so refreshing to work with a company that also has like their investors' interests at heart, and it's like working with people who want to see the projects get made that they want to watch. And I feel like so many things get made that people are just like, how did this thing get greenlit? Like, who's this made for? And working with a company like Legion M has been pretty special because they just listen to their audience, and I would love to work with them again.
Yeah, same.
Favorite memory on set?
Oh, wow. I haven't even like digested it yet. It was just like such an incredible experience. There's so many good memories. I'm trying to think.
I think the one that kind of sticks out to me is like our first day on set, walking onto the set and seeing like, oh wow, this is actually happening. It was like we were a small, scrappy film, but we walked on set and I was like, oh, this looks like a $20 million movie. Like oh my god, we're actually doing this. Yeah, so it was just like it didn't feel real until all of a sudden it got really real, and I think that it was like, okay, everybody's got to step up and go. So that was like the exciting part of it, and I think that's the thing that still sticks out to me is that first day walking on set at like 7 a.m. and seeing all the trucks and all the lights set up. It's like, oh wow, here we go.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it was like the first take that we rolled with Karin because we didn't have the luxury of getting any rehearsals for this movie just because the level of talent we brought on. We're trying to fit this in between like shows they were on or the movies they were working on. So there was never any rehearsal. So literally the first time we rolled the take was the first time we saw Karin and Rafael Casal in those characters. And the second Karin gave his first couple lines, I just had like chills. I have chills on my arm right now. Just chills down my arm, just like seeing him embody the role because I had no idea what we were in store for yet. Really,
no, yeah,
it was like a big leap of faith.
It really was. We were kind of like flying.
We talked about it, but like seeing him do the dialogue, was like really special.
No, yeah, just kind of just building on what Andrew was saying. It is like we'd obviously had like discussions and but it's just like pre-production was just making sure we had every location locked down. There was no time for rehearsal, so we're in that sense like hoping that all the actors are going to come prepared and ready because we were kind of flying blind. We're like, we don't know what we're going to get. Yeah. And then everyone showed up.
There's no chemistry test. Like, you really don't know how it was going to work, but we got really lucky and we captured lightning in the bottle.
We did, yeah.
Sounds like you had a great crew.
Yeah, we did for sure.
How long did it take you to film this?
It was 19 days.
Wow.
So yeah, initially it was 21, and then we had to find ways to trim that down. But yeah, 19 days. A lot of independent films, you got to just when you don't have a ton of money, you got to figure out a way to get it done because you're burning cash every day.
And those were long days.
Oh my gosh, yeah, 16-hour days. It felt like 22-hour days.
I bet.
Yeah, that just compound over the month. Yeah.
Go for it. Scene did you guys make that you were like, I can't believe we were able to take this from the paper to film that was like all hopes and butterfly and done and something
I don't know how to answer that without giving away too much of the movie. We have like a really iconic climax of our film that is not in the teaser yet because there's a lot of VFX involved with it. How do I talk about it without? I mean, I guess we can say what the scene is, right?
Yeah, you can say what it is.
Like, so basically, it's Karin's character is standing on top of the Hollywood sign. And so they were mixing practical with VFX. And for me, it was just really, really cool to see him up there standing on like this letter that we built in a soundstage. Was just like a really, really cool moment.
Yeah, I would say that was the one for me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't actually film on the Hollywood sign, so we had to go make one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's iconic.
I had a question and it's gone away.
Oh, you had one of those.
Yeah, my brain just decided to turn to keys.
What was it like filming in LA? I'm sure there was like a lot of sometimes issues with getting permission, with getting on a certain area. What was that like navigating that and making sure you did it within the time that was allotted?
It was definitely challenging. LA is providing a lot of challenges for independent filmmakers right now. But LA is a character in the story, so it was like, you're not going to shoot Top Gun without Tom Cruise. So we're like, if we're not going to shoot in LA, then we're not going to make the movie. So we just decided to go through it. The challenges that presented themselves, I think, were offset by a lot of the casts that we got that were like, yeah, I'll give you a couple days because you're like in my backyard. I don't have to go to like Oregon or New Mexico and leave my family. And so it kind of like balanced each other out. But honestly, like locations, like if we're shooting in 2 different locations, like they're 2 miles apart. Just everybody knows LA traffic, and it's just like, oh my god, we're just burning daylight here. Like, how do we just like get out of the way, you know? So, but yeah, I think just like the days, everything just starts happening like really quickly, and when you're watching money fly out of the account, you're just like, we hurry up, we need to hurry up. So yeah, LA provides a few challenges in logistical sense, but it was offset by just like the crew that we got and the talent.
I mean, really, what he said, it's more of a producerial thing. You know, like when he's presented with problems that come up because of some of the restrictions of shooting in LA, then it forces us to come up with creative solutions around it. You know, like a puzzle, like I said. And, locations is challenging, and the days flying by is always challenging.
Yeah.
But we had to shoot in LA. It's a movie about Hollywood, so
yeah.
I remembered my question.
Wouldn't feel it.
What do you hope audiences get away from this when they walk away? What do you hope there?
I think, I think everybody that's ever done and gone after like a dream has kind of, how far are you willing to go to make it, and at what point do you like cross the line? And this film toes the line of like self-confidence and desperation, and hopefully anybody that's going to pursue anything in this creative or entrepreneurial endeavor will just think twice about like, how far are you willing to go? Like, is it worth it? And it answers, it just provides a lot of like questions that someone's going to watch and not only enjoy but ask themselves like, is this what I want to do? And laugh at themselves a little bit, because we're making a movie, it's fun, and like I think a lot of people in Hollywood take themselves so seriously, but it's just like we're holding a mirror up to the industry and being like, we're making a movie. It's like we can all enjoy it and have fun and do everything.
Yeah, well said.
Either of you?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
One question.
Okay.
Got a listening bed.
Thank you all.
Thank you.